Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This Is The Music Meets Podcast, an independent podcast show that's dedicated to introducing you to rising indie and alternative artists from across the UK and Ireland. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any brand new episodes, and don't be shy. Drop us a comment as I would love to hear from you. Right then, let's get into this week's show. It's episode 158, and I'm joined by Cheshire five-piece SKAL, a band who are already making serious waves with their high-energy hook-pack singles, All of the People and The Whites, which have clocked up over 10,000 Spotify streams. As well as talking about their rapid rise, we're also going to find out about their support slot with Spangled and their upcoming Liverpool headline show at HIVE next year. And as it is that time of the year, we're also going to dive into some Christmas chat as well to round off all the question. So Evan and Jack, thanks very much for joining me on the This Is The Music Meets podcast. Thanks very much for coming on. How are you both doing?
Yeah, not so bad, mate. Nice for having us.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Great, great as I say to have you here. As I was just saying off air, it's where I am in this office. It is absolutely freezing at This Is The Music HQ. So it's dropped very rapidly, right? The old weather.
That's why I got my big ass on.
Mate, yeah. Been working all week outside, mate, all last week and that. Freezing.
Yeah.
Baltic, yeah.
Yeah, not the best. I should have taken a leaf out of your book, Evan, I think, and put a beanie on, I think.
Oh yeah, it's keeping the ears warm, everything. It's needed. And I'm inside as well. Thing is, these uni ACOMs, they're all right because everyone else in the ACOM sticks the heating on, so you don't need to stick yours on. It's just unnecessarily sweaty. I have to have the window open.
You must about be the only man in the UK doing that right now, I reckon.
Oh yeah. Gotta be done.
Absolutely. So, for anyone discovering you even for the first time, who are SKAL and how did you all come together?
We're a five-piece band from the northwest in Cheshire. It's from a little town called Winsford. We got together as this lineup of SKAL off the back of another band that we were previously in, and we ended up needing a singer, and obviously drafted Evan. But that's when we became SKAL. But we've all been playing in bands together since I think me and Ev were 11 when we had our first band in school.
Yeah, started high school, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 11, 12, yeah. Playing Day Tripper down at a little festival, little school stage little festival with a school stage on it there.
Yeah, there's a little marina in Winsford, and it was just, you had two stages. You had the big stage and you had the other little stage. I was there doing Smells Like Teen Spirit and me completely forgetting the whole third verse and having to look at all these and just come up the music and going, what is it?
Yeah, we used to be like a little covers band, didn't we? We used to think we were like proper little mods as well. We used to be like obsessed with Quadrophenia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Walking around now, Perry thinking we were dead cool and that. Play like the Who on like
Quadrophenia and Spike Island, wasn't it? They were our two films that we just sort of we gatekeep Spike Island, and then loads of people in high school then started watching it, and we used to get pissed off, being like, nah, you used to give us shit for all this.
Well, I learned their errors of their ways pretty quickly, I reckon.
So you're right, they realise that's cool, don't they?
Absolutely. So, obviously, you've been together for it must be about sort of nearly 18 months or so now. But obviously, the first release came out last year. And obviously, I think it's fair to say with both of the tracks, you have created a bit more than a bit of a buzz, but a real buzz. And as I mentioned before, obviously, 10,000 streams between the two singles, All of the People and The Whites. Absolutely love both tracks. When you first put them out, and Evan, I'll come to you on this one, what were you hoping that people listening to it were going to pick up from it and sort of get from the song, or both songs? Sorry.
Well, I think it's just there's a sense of realism to it, because I think when we're writing the songs that we write, it kind of just comes naturally, and it's coming through experiences and through what it's like in our sort of day-to-day life as such. But then you kind of write it in a way that it's got to, it's just how it all comes out. And then you want to be able to bring that raw energy, do you know what I mean? So realism from the lyrics, and then the sort of raw energy through everyone's instruments, and I think that's the main thing we're coming across main as a band, is that it's like about that raw energy, the passion, the sort of just that sort of in your face, just wanting to have it kind of thing.
Yeah. And Jack, have you been surprised at all by the reaction to the songs? Because obviously we know sort of how difficult it is for any band really to sort of, gain a following and to sort of get noticed in this industry. But no, yeah, bang, as I say, 10,000 streams on the first couple of
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah. Noticed I think people every gig we've been playing recently, even if it's a gig site, there's 30 people there, or there's like loads of people there. We're making an impression on everybody we're playing in front of, no matter the size of the crowd, and that's what's important. And and people going back and listen, like who it is, and they go on Spotify or whatever and listen to us and that, and then you see them again and no words, don't they? So yeah, it's good, man.
That's the thing, and you've got a network in a sense now, haven't you? Like, and so we've not really gone to sort of crazy above and beyond with anything. It is just kind of that it's the rawness of playing a gig. Hopefully, like, you know what I mean, like yourself, Mark, finding us and like supporting us from the very start. We're throwing like this, like the both singles on, like,
Yeah, nice one for them as well.
so
I
it's
think
like that's the help you need, isn't it?
No, no, absolutely. Thank you both for that. And yeah, I do agree. I think that's I still feel that word of mouth is personally is the best way for people to get noticed. But yeah, I think as you say, I think you have got to put that graft in. The networking side of things. As much as everybody hates having to do it, it kind of like has to be done, right?
Thing though is like the networking is the best bit of it. I love a good waffle, like, and I think if you're talking about something you're so passionate about, then it shouldn't be like an issue.
Work, should it? Should be work.
Yeah, you just do it because you love it, and then when you're finding other people who are coming up to you like buzzing with the stuff you're creating, it's so humbling. But it makes it. There's no better feeling.
Yeah, no, fair enough, yeah, and I think you make a good argument there for that it is a pretty good part of it.
Social media, that's the worst bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think more people are interested in cooking with whatever band it
Fucking with
is,
SKAL,
you know.
Gonna make some sausage butties.
That's it. Yeah, I still struggle to get my head around that. How they seem to, go more viral than the actual music that they're trying to get out there. But hey, yeah, who knows? It's a weird one. But obviously, I believe I've got this right that the band's name SKAL is inspired by like Sweden. I believe I've got right. So obviously, quite a unique choice. So where did that idea come from, and what does it mean anything to the band at all?
I was just sat on it for ages. Like, obviously, I think when these were in Riverstone and stuff, I had like a notes thing on my phone, and I just had band names, and then I had SKAL, and then that was the only one I had pretty much sat in there, besides a couple of ropey ones. And then yeah, it just sort of it come upon like with doing the band, and then I just sort of thought, oh, it's a pretty cool. It's short, snappy.
Yeah.
It sounds like Scally, and I put obviously the two dots on the top, like, and sort of seeing what it was. So I'm going off what the translate said, but it says like SKAL in Swedish is hill, and in Swedish for reason, cause, and motive. I probably butchered it, but the reason, cause, and the motive bit, like, this is the reason, cause, and motive.
That's the
A bunch of
music,
Scallies making tunes.
The music is the reason and cause and the motive, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's why we do it, isn't it, man?
yeah, definitely, and obviously with the two releases that you've put out so far, it's fair to say that they're packed full of energy, loads of great hooks, fast paced, and plenty of swagger in them. I personally get sort of like flashes a bit of like Kasabian, sort of more early Kasabian, and sort of like a little bit of Primal Scream in there, sort of like almost like a dancey feel as well in it. Obviously, I know that you mentioned like Quadrophenia and all the mod stuff there before, but are there any other artists and sort of maybe scenes that have maybe shaped SKAL's sort of sound at all?
When we wrote the Whites, that was a song we wrote when we were about 16, 17, when we came out of school. Me, Ed, and Tom, our drummer, we like when we were trying to get this little band together. I think at the time we were massive into the music, and we really wanted to like dancey kind of like guitar riff like that, quite heavy but almost dancey in a way. So I think we were definitely inspired by the music's first album with that one. Yeah.
Obviously the
Yeah,
Roses as well.
yeah, the
You know
Roses.
what I mean?
Yeah,
The Roses were the big, like that was the follow-on point. That was
Yeah,
so it was, you know what I mean? Everyone, they that was something that kind of changed our lives, and they just that was like you want that sort of energy. The bunch, these just four old lads, just like making just tunes that are just quality.
yeah.
we were all
No,
pretty big
that.
Zootons fans as well, weren't we? As kids
Oh
growing
yeah,
up and
big
stuff
time.
like yeah, massive
Yeah,
into the Zootons. Yeah,
A lot of the Scouse music though, like it's like Scott, Liverpool and Manchester, the two of the biggest powerhouse cities for music in the whole world. So it's just like to be
yeah.
sort
We
of
grew
sat
up in
like right in the
between.
middle of the bit of them. We weren't short for inspirations, like even local bands as well. You know what I mean? I grew up above a music bar, so you got to see a lot of bands coming through there with my dad putting gigs on, and you know what I mean. You get little inspirations here, there, everywhere, don't you?
yeah, yeah. And obviously, you're just touching on Stone Roses. They're obviously such a shame and a shock, obviously, to hear about Manny
Yeah,
earlier on
man,
this week.
Yeah, it's don't have words for it, do you? Really, like it's like we said, what sort of shaped and soundtracked our teen life. Like when things weren't going the greatest, like you'd stick the Roses on and you'd feel like you were like 10 foot tall again. So it's just like
Yeah,
it's like losing that. It's like losing a part of what you are, isn't it? Like losing that part of the soundtrack to your life.
yeah.
Losing just one of the coolest fellas in the industry. Who just he stayed himself. Always stayed true to himself.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I sort of heard, quite a few people saying that, as you say, staying true to himself, and it's, I guess, in a way, it's quite refreshing actually, because you hear quite a bit about people disappearing up their own arses and that, so
Yeah.
to speak. But yeah, obviously, clearly in the two tracks so far, there's obviously a real sort of, in my opinion, a real confidence to sort of like the songwriting. Obviously, you've been talking there that the Whites was obviously written when you were 16. So obviously, you've been doing this for for quite a few years. How, if you could, this is the sort of for you really, how would you describe the SKAL sound in your own words to someone who's never heard you before?
I think we've got a good mix of tunes as well. Like I think we could sit with some heavy bands and also sit with some softer bands, like because we've got a good mix. Or we could have like a really heavy set list or like a bit more of a chilled out set list. Because like the Whites is one of those like high pace like rock and roll songs, but we've also got other songs. People who've heard us live would have heard these tunes, like but other people who only access to us at the moment is listening like streaming platform. We have got though that softer side because I think it was Keith Richards said when they recorded Beast of Burden, it's all right being in a rock band, doing all these rock shoots, but you've got to be able to roll as well. That slower, cooler, kind of more laid back thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, very wise words, and you can't really go wrong with listening to Keith
No,
Richards, right?
no, no, no. He was here before. He was here before the dawn of time. Keith Richards, wasn't he? So you've got to listen to him. He's seen it all, hasn't he?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, it's a miracle he's still here. I think. To be fair, have you ever read his autobiography?
No, man. I do want to give it a go. To be fair,
Yeah,
I bet there's some stories in
yeah,
that.
yeah, there are absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant book. So let's talk about the debut single, "All of the People." It sort of got that sort of like big arms wide, sort of festival ready sort of feel about it. So, what kind of like sparked the idea for the track? And I know you've mentioned before, sort of briefly on the songwriting process. Was that the same process for this track? How did it all come together?
Well, I wrote the tune probably same again when we were saying about that sort of 16 period. Like I've got the lyrics through and then brought it over to Ent and then and sort of like created the riff, which we've had the sort of obviously main base of the song and the riff for all the period of time. If you look on Instagram, there's an old like Instagram account of ours called King Kachingin, and it's got one video on it, and it's all of the people. You got MC doing the Freebird as the
Yeah,
solo. Like
yeah.
it's class. It's like a
Freebird.
proper hidden gem in the media. But yeah, it was just kind of just being wrote about, getting through that sort of teen life of just like sort of going about and everyone's just sort of like just trying to get the grips of everything, getting grips of life, sort of everyone's sort of looking about at you. It's just all eyes on you and you just want to be sort of within your own sort of like comforts as such.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And obviously then with the Whites, obviously that came out earlier on this year, in August this year. I think it's fair to say that it's become a little bit of a breakthrough moment, really, because obviously it landed on John Kennedy's exposure show. So, what did that feel like? Hearing him talking about your song, championing the band. Obviously, we all know about his sort of level of influence and what he does for upcoming bands. So, yeah, what Jack comes to you on this one first? What was that feeling like? Hearing the track on the radio for the first time.
But obviously, you want when you create something like that, it's very near and dear to you. So, when other people start receiving it well, it's a little piece of your soul, isn't it? I suppose. There's a little bit of it, like each member of the band in that song. You know what I mean? So, with it being received well and people, singing along to it or spinning it on the radio or whatever, it means a lot, doesn't it? So yeah, I was buzzing. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you sort of celebrate the moment at all, Evan? Was there any sort of like band party or anything like that, or was it just like, yeah, do you know what, this is pretty cool?
I'd say most shows have a frigging party, like, so it's one of them. It's like we went, because obviously we spun both of the tracks actually. Like, I remember that the first time when he sort of put all the people on there, it's like it's nice to see that there's someone who's on a big sort of radio station, which is we've listened to quite regularly, that's still getting like the chance to be able to put bands that obviously they seem suitable on. Another early mention as well was Gary Crowley as well on BBC London.
Oh yeah.
Is like,
Yeah.
what a legend, like, you know what I mean? He's worked with like through like some of our biggest inspirations names, like, you know what I mean? He's done sessions with the Lars, stuff like that, and it's like for him to have, like, at the end of his show, you only got like one track, I think it was. You can only play one new track, and we're on things like Tribal Quest or stuff like that, and he's chosen this one and had to go through like producers and stuff and it to get accepted. I think that's like that means a lot, because that's someone who I would trust on music, and trusted a very trusted opinion and a well respected opinion by the coolest of musicians. So it's like same with John Kennedy, you know what I mean? It's like I'd like to think that there's enough still going out there on the radio that are going to actually give it a throw out, like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we just mentioned in there, before, about how difficult it is for bands. So yeah, to have someone at that level, both of them, as you said, obviously Gary Crowley and John Kennedy, there, to have national radio play, and well, I guess it's probably not national now. I guess most of them can download it anywhere in the world, type of thing. So yeah,
Folks at Radio 6 now to get onto it, like the likes of Lamac and
yeah, that's it. That's it. Get the hat trick.
Oh, I know, yeah, be nice that.
And obviously, we were talking before we started that obviously you supported Spangled at Archive last weekend in Liverpool. Kind of like, then, what was that night like for you, and how did, obviously I know it's a sort of a home crowd, I guess, really for you. So how was your set received?
Yeah, it was a lot of good feedback after the gig, to be fair. Yeah, I think it went really well. It's a fairly new venue as well, so I'm shocked at how good the sound was in there. It was our first time in there as well. Yeah, the reception from the crowd, everyone who was coming up to us afterwards, they loved it and stuff like that. Like, really buzzing for it. Yeah. Apart from the only downside we had was when we turned up to the venue to unload all the gear, we had a big screw in the van tyre. Our guitar,
Oh no.
Darcy, our guitar player, his tyre had a big screw in it, so we had to go sort that out. Well,
Oh
he
no.
didn't. Our bass player had them.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
Apart from that, it was a good night.
yeah. Yeah, you'd probably speak to Darcy, you'd probably say it wasn't as good, and now he got stranded halfway home as well, like.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he only got halfway home and had to pull over by a pub and leave his van there and get picked up.
Oh
So he'd
no.
probably give you a different answer. Yeah.
And we had the studio, like, we had the gig and then in the studio like the day after, so it was like it was kind of just like, yeah, bit of a hectic. I had a good one, like, I thought it was ace. It's a lovely venue. Archive's going to be one of them places in Liverpool that a lot of people will get to know soon enough, like, once, you know what I mean, and you start, like, because it'll be a hub, and you need places like that in cities that you have well respected musicians and people all come together and, yeah, like, just create history, you know.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, yeah, it's so good actually to see that there are venues trying to open and stuff, because obviously I think it's fair to say that we've all seen there's been a lot of venues that have closed, and we want to come and see the next band, and future festival headliners and all that, and if they keep shutting them down, there ain't going to be many people. It'd just be manufactured even, sort of like Simon Cowell nonsense. But there you go.
No, Bob on. It'll be taken over by the robots. You know what I mean? It's just the way
Yeah,
it's
it's the
going with
other
everything.
challenge. Yeah,
And you don't need that. It's the thing. If there's one thing that the humans can do brilliantly is create art in any form. So you got to pride yourself, like be it a musician, be it an artist, pride yourself on creating and having the place to be able to provide that. And like you said, with more closing down, it's like all the big companies aren't going to start to realise soon enough, wow, well, why are we not getting all this sudden influx of musicians? It's like, well, if you don't support the grassroots, you're going to lose it.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you any more there, Evan. To be honest, yeah, it's definitely can get out there, get out there. And in actual fact, that takes us on very nicely to the next question because obviously, SKAL are going to be returning to Archive next year, March 2026. A massive moment in your journey so far as a band. We're going to put the ticket link in the episode bio. So as soon as you finish watching this podcast, do go and click that link and go and buy a ticket because I think it's about 150 capacity. I think, Evan, you were saying before. So maybe for people that haven't seen you before, what can they expect? I guess sort of two questions really to this. First of all, from a SKAL show, but how will that SKAL show differ from that headline? That support slot we were just chatting about with Spangled to the headline show in March.
We play every gig we're playing Glastonbury, so it's going to be the same attitude and the same, just as a longer set, I suppose.
Yeah,
Maybe a
more
few
of a
new
showcase,
tunes.
like.
Yeah, more of a showcase, man. Yeah, maybe a few new tunes in there, hopefully as well.
yeah, yeah. Do you have any like pre-gig like rituals at all or anything like that?
Ziggy.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, we're not one of them bands that all get hold up and like, right, come on, guys.
Cleveland.
Let's be fair, we all that's about, but like I think we all kind of come together at the right time, and I think if you keep that chemistry between you all the time, you're not gonna like lose that chemistry in that 15 minutes before you get on the stage, like.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no.
It'll be a bouncer. It'll be a great gig. We'll have upcoming bands on as well. That we want to be able to if we can get a platform, you want to be able to give the platform to the next generation of musicians too as well. And hopefully, if people quite like it and fancy it, and have a listen to the third single when that comes out, you've got like 3 tunes to go over, and then a load more that you'll get to know. And the crowd's always lovely. We've got a great bunch that always travel, like, and we've got a lot of loyal sort of mates who will make the effort. And if you know what I mean, if they there's only so far they can push. You need to get the outside world to sort of come in and come for a bounce, like, and come have a mad one.
Yeah, definitely. I think again, you touched on it before with the grassroots venues. Got to come out. It doesn't matter. Where you're from or whatever. Come out and see. Obviously, as we said, you sort of got together. Last year as under the banner of SKAL. So during that sort of 18 months or so period, has there been anything that you've kind of like learned about the music industry that maybe you didn't expect?
Learn that you've just got to keep loving what you're doing, and that's the only reason you should be doing it. There's a lot of, I don't know, we're not experienced enough, to meet all these Thai industry people yet. But even like the people at the lower levels, still some people you need to be wary of on that level as well.
Yeah, you black artists.
If you've not got thick skin, it might be a bit disheartening. You know what I mean? If you're young, especially like if you're a younger band, you've just got to enjoy it. That's what that's got to be the motivation, just the love of the music. So as long as you love the music, keep doing it.
You've got to have good intuition as well. I do believe that, like, especially with a lot of things, is if you've not got if you're not like streetwise or got common sense, like, and you try and get into it, then you will get pushed over. I've got the pleasure of like going to university and like sort of studying like music industry and performance. So it's like the thing I'm trying to sort of get more knowledge on. And being surrounded by really cool people who have been in the industry, like you know what I mean. One of my tutors has headlined Glastonbury, like, you know what I mean. That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you want.
yeah.
It's so like when you got to speaking to someone who's so down to earth and so like real, and they're the ones you want about, because they're the ones who'll tell you how it is, give you their experience in it, and I think anyone who's sort of made it in the industry and still stayed true to themselves, like we said previous, I think they'll be the ones that give you the greatest help to get that step into like the industry.
Yeah, definitely. So on every This Is the Music Meets podcast, we ask our guests a series of questions that are kind of like designed to be sort of like a little bit more sort of like light-hearted and help our listeners find out a little bit more about the people that we are chatting to. So these are sort of open to both of you, so just jump in at any point. So the first question is, can you remember the first album that you ever bought?
I remember the first album I ever bought on vinyl was "Bringing It Back Home" by Bob Dylan.
Nice.
In Liverpool, yeah. I don't remember the first one, like, I don't know. I always had CDs in the house and stuff like that, but I think the first one I went out and bought proper vinyl record LP was "Bringing It All Back Home" by Bob Dylan.
Yeah, nice, classic. How about you, Evan?
It's a bit of a different from mine. The ones I can remember is like I used to go to shops, get the CD, you go to CD shops, and that's entertainment. I think it was. I remember picking up the soundtrack for the South Park film. That's one of the.
I remember you having that CD as well.
Yeah, like I wanted to try and collect. Like I think the first one I collected was obviously all the Oasis CDs. You know what I mean? Of that age, you wanted to like, but it was like, yeah, I distinctly remember going and getting the South Park soundtrack and sticking that on and being like, they're completely different to Bob Dylan, you know what I mean? It's really nice and sort of like passionate. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. Just like, can't be repeated.
Yeah. Almost the proper like polar opposite, really.
That's poetry. South Park and poetry.
And who would be sort of like the one band that you'd love to go and support?
What, from the history or present time? Or...
you know what? We'll say from like the present. Yeah, the bands have got to be active, I guess.
That's a good one. That is a really good one.
I mean, there's so many to choose for. You know, which it's probably a bit of an understatement there, Mark.
Yeah, it is. It's really tricky. That has proper got me. That I think if the Lads formed again, if they come back together, maybe that'd be a great.
Yeah.
And even like we said before, the Zootons. We used to support the Zootons. You know what I mean? Like we listened to them since we've been little nippers, like, and we had like a thing where we've got chatting to Dave and Abby, like when we were doing gigs and stuff, and it was nice to sort of speak to people who, you know, as a kid you thought like, oh my god, this is like music is like, well, this is the music. And it's like, but then you like next minute you chat to them and like they follow the band page and little bits and bobs like that. Little wins.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's class that they obviously that. Was it last year? I think they did a load of dates, didn't they? Big tour last year, I think. Which is great to see. Yeah. I remember seeing them. They called in at the last minute. The Zootons was meant to be they supported Oasis at Milton Keynes Bowl. I think that Baby Shambles were meant to be there, but I think they'd called off somewhere. I think France or somewhere like the couple of days.
Yeah, I've heard that story actually.
And then they came out. I personally didn't have any idea as to anything about them, and was generally blown away and was like, right, next gig wherever it is, you know, down in London or whatever, then I'm gonna make sure I go. And brilliant band.
All it takes. It's all it takes is that right stage at the right time and the right crowd that would like just go boom, and then that's it. You've got another wave in it. It's like getting influx in it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. So, if you had to cover one song at every gig for the rest of time, what song are you going to choose?
Killing the Name Of. We've done that a couple of times, and it absolutely goes off every time we played it.
Yeah,
we're gonna get bored of that.
Yeah, you never get bored of that song, and it's just pure fuel, fire, and just
And if you've kind of hinted at a festival already, so I think I'm pretty confident what I think your answer is going to be. But if SKAL could headline any festival in the world, what one would it be? You know, what do you think would get the best reaction from the crowd? You know, thinking of your sort of sound and energy, obviously, that you bring.
Locally and close to home, I'd say Bearded Fairy. That's one of my first ever festival I went to, and it's one of it's one of those like shush, don't tell anyone festivals because it's that good. But the community there, it's only small, but the crowd and everyone's just ace. I've seen like people like the Hives there, like the Hives went off. It was crazy. And like, you know what I mean? You're just like in a little field over in Derbyshire, like literally next to us.
Yeah.
Some of the the ones you see over in like Europe and stuff, some of them look ace.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's festival, sunshine, loads of cool tunes. They look pretty cool.
I feel like the Americans don't do festivals like we do over here. Like it seems like a totally different experience, doesn't it? Festivals over there.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember a couple of years back? Blur went over to what's the festival called?
Coachella, wasn't it? I think.
That's it. And I think that, I mean, I know Blur obviously have dipped in and out in recent years, but I don't think anybody knew who they were. And I think
it was a good set as well. Like, it wasn't as if it was just sort of like mediocre or anything.
Yeah. No,
same with with Gorillaz though as well. Like, look, he's probably had more outreach with Gorillaz over there than he has with Blur.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? Strange.
Yeah.
Strange.
No,
Right, let's dive into this little section. Christmas is obviously just round the corner. What do you think is the best Christmas song ever, and why?
Everyone says Fairy Tale New York, don't they? You know, 'cause it's a nice song and all that. But I reckon I like Stephen's Christmas idea.
I was thinking Stephen's the Christmas then as well.
Stephen's Christmas Day.
Yeah, that is a tune. Yeah, that is a classic.
That gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's never done. But,
if
anything but Mariah Carey, really. Sick of that, stinks.
Yeah, it's
The old ones are the best, aren't they? Like
Wizard, Slade, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Wizard and Slade and stuff like that. They're all the best ones, aren't they? Like, people are making like new Christmas songs now, like Little Mix or Ariana Grande and that. It's crap, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think that's a good
don't
thing.
Have that sound like the old Christmas songs like have like this sound, and I don't know I can't put my finger on it, but they all have this certain sounds to recordings. And I think it's just being lost in time or something.
What I was just about to say, I was like, I think like writing a Christmas song now, it can't be like it doesn't sound right if it's produced new. If it's got that,
it's got old, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got an era. It's like the era, sort of like that's what you think of like your childhood, and then they've stayed timeless. And I think it would take something amazing now to be able to create it as a timeless Christmas song.
Okay, well there you go then. If you were to record a Christmas song, what would it sound like?
Nothing like that Christmas song. It'd be like something about ruining the Christmas dinner or something, like, you know what I mean? Because we've done that more than enough.
we all normally meet up on Christmas Day as well, don't we? Go for a drink or the lads and that. So after once we've had a few bevies now, we'll have to get the guitars out and write a Christmas song.
Yeah, it's become a tradition that now. I've done it for like what? Like, I think it's going to like 8 years now or something. We've been doing it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Then you're going to get the guitars out Christmas. So I'll be expecting a Christmas song next year. Then we'll bring it back on, and we can this time next year, and you can play it on the show first or something.
I'll get the festive hat out for that one.
Brilliant. And which member you mentioning there, going down the pub on Christmas Day for a few bevies and that, which band member would most likely to be, get a bit more carried away and I guess essentially spoiling their Christmas dinner because they're, had a few too many to drink?
That could be any of us, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'll probably give it to either. Yeah, I reckon I'd give it to either Ev or Darcy, our guitar player.
Dad, I said the same. I reckon you put a good running for your money as well. I reckon Tom and Adam maybe not as much. Like they'll be able to keep themselves composed for it. Like they'll be all right. But we used to do gigs on like Christmas Eve, like sort of pub gigs. So obviously then you're doing a gig and you're having like you just smash the ale in, and then you wake up the next day and it's just like the pigs in blankets to try and have you straighten away.
Oh no, I'd have been straight down the pub and just carried on.
Well, my dad runs a venue in our where we're from in Winsford, and obviously we open up on the Christmas day. So that was last year. I didn't go out. I stayed Christmas Eve, and the feeling fresh and being in the pub and having a pint that actually tasted nice. coming to the roast dinner half cut, knowing that I'm just going to yam it all off.
Brilliant. And if you could invite any, maybe a musician or a non-musician to a Christmas Day meal, who are you going to invite?
Ainsley Harriott, because you'll whip a good scran up.
Good choice. I like the thinking.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know, I was trying to think of another musician or something Don't want someone who's going to be too hectic, because you don't want to we'd invite them to the after Christmas dinner, we'd they can come to the party afterwards, but you know what I mean, you need someone who's going to be able to sit there with your family members at a table and not say something absurd,
not offend everybody.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Obviously, SKAL have built some serious momentum in sort of this sort of first 18 months period. But what then does 2026 look like for you? Can we expect more singles, an EP? Obviously, we've mentioned about the headliner in March. You're presumably going to be looking to try and get bigger shows as well. What's 2026 looking like?
We've got another single in the pipeline that we've been recording. We recorded it on Sunday just gone, which people should keep their eyes and ears peeled for, because that should be coming soon, hopefully. But don't know. Apart from the headline, we're still getting the master plan together. You know what I mean? We can't divulge too much, otherwise, people might start selling secrets and stuff like that.
Everyone's got secrets. Very
good, very good.
No, yeah, it's just one of them. Hopefully, we can just sort of sneak our way onto some decent gigs, find some people that we can sort of, you know what I mean, share the same sort of passion we do, and just hopefully just keep championing it. As
talking, aren't we?
I mean, the fact we're just there having a waffle with you, Mark, is you like we said before, you're part of that. When we mentioned John Kennedy championing grassroots, you're doing just as much. You know what I mean? It's just because you've not got the big platform. That's what we need. It's like the small music venues of the social media world. You know what I mean? You have to have the people that can sort of help them step on.
Isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, look, in my opinion, you're definitely going to get onto that, the next level or whatever it is, next stage, whatever the right terminology is, because from the two tunes that I've heard, I think you're a bloody good band in my view, and wish you both of you here, but obviously the band continued success. But look, Evan and Jack, unfortunately that is the end of the This Is The Music Meets podcast. Thank you both for coming on and giving up your time. I really appreciate it. But just before I let you both go, could one of you kindly let the This Is The Music listeners know the social media platforms that they can find SKAL on?
So it's all the good stuff. Obviously, you have your Instagrams, you got your Facebooks, all that sort of thing. We are SKAL Band UK, so it's that's pretty much the same tag for everything. Obviously, it's SKAL for all your good streaming services, whichever one you choose to have, and hopefully you'll be seeing a little website pop up for somewhere soon and get some bits and bobs so you can have all the SKAL that you could possibly need.
Brilliant. Absolutely love that. And look, we'll put those links in the episode bio as well, with the link to the headliner at Archive in March as well. So do please go and grab a ticket after this podcast is finished. Evan and Jack, look, thanks again for coming on. Thank you very much, as I say, for giving up your time. I've really enjoyed that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what 2026 has got in store for you.
Nice one for having us on, mate. Having a chat, mate. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, man.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you are loving the podcast, I would love to hear from you. So do please leave a comment on your preferred podcast listening platform, as it will really make a difference to the bands that we interview. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcast, then stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, you're going to hear SKAL's latest single called The Whites, which is out now on all streaming and download platforms. And as we mentioned in the podcast, SKAL are going to be headlining HIVE in Liverpool in March 2026. The ticket link is down in the episode bio, so do please go and grab yourself a ticket. Thanks for watching the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast, and I'll see you very, very soon for another episode. And remember, the future is bright, the future is indie.